And we're on the prowl.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of On the Prowl, the Daily Princetonian's weekly sports telecast. My name is Vikram and I'm executive editor for sports here at the Prince. I'm seated alongside Gabe Debenedetti, associate editor for sports. Hello, Gabe.
Hi, Vikram.
Well, Gabe, we have quite a lot to talk about this week. Let's start with the football team. The Tigers traveled to New York this weekend to play Columbia, and things didn't quite go as planned.
Not at all. It was a 42-14 drubbing. It was the only time ever in the history of this 100-plus year rivalry that the Tigers have lost two in a row to Columbia. They dropped last year's decision 38-0, which was their worst ever loss to Columbia. They hadn't allowed more than 40 points since 2003, which was a double overtime loss to Harvard. Overall, not a great performance.
Not a great performance at all, Gabe, but there were a few positives to take away from this game. The offense did play decently well. Junior quarterback Tommy Warnham made some plays, threw a touchdown pass. And senior wide receiver Trey Peacock continued the very hot start to the season that he's been on. He went over 100 yards for the third straight week and still leads the NCAA in receiving yards per game.
Right, and we should also remember that the defense and part of the offense is pretty banged up. They have a lot of injuries, so the Tigers still have prospects for the rest of the season. This game, however, most certainly did not go as planned.
Most certainly. Moving on to field hockey, on Friday night, Princeton faced Columbia in a game that most people expected them to win, and they did just that, coming out and winning 6-1. But then what happened today, Gabe?
Well, this game did not go exactly as planned. The Tigers hosted number 14 American. Now, remember, the Tigers beat the top-seeded team Maryland last week. They're number 4 right now, the Tigers are, and they were expecting to jump up after a win against American.
Absolutely.
However, American came to Princeton and won 3-2, jumping out to a 3-0 lead at halftime.
Yeah, definitely not the way that Princeton saw itself playing on Sunday, but hiccups happen. In the long scheme of things, this might not be as big of a deal as it seems like right now. The Tigers have been playing well on all season, and I think we can expect them to continue their high level of play. Moving on, the Sprint football team played Mansfield this weekend and lost 10-6. It's one of their closest games in a very long time now, isn't it, Gabe?
That's right. Their last official win was in 1999, and this is one of the closest ones they've had. Mansfield is their main rival.
Right.
And while this may look like a down point because they're not going to have that many more easy games, they're playing post-university next week. This is Post's first season as an official team, and they have started the season 0-2. So I'm not saying that the Tigers are necessarily going to win, but if there was ever a time to break an 11-year losing streak, this would be it.
This would definitely be it. A team with very little experience, only 2 games, as you said. You'd hope that the Tigers would be able to call upon their vast amount of experience that they have. Many of the players have been playing for all of their time here at Princeton, and hopefully that'll help them pick up something of an advantage this week. The men's and women's soccer teams both played Dartmouth this weekend at home, and things went very well.
That's right, they both won. Men's soccer team beat Dartmouth 3-0 behind 2 goals from Josh Walburn, their senior stalwart.
Right.
And the women's team beat Dartmouth 2-1 behind 2 goals from Caitlin Blosser, who has really emerged as a star player of the sophomore.
Right. It's good to see the Stars stepping up to the plate and scoring big goals in big Ivy League games.
That's right. Both teams should definitely expect to compete for Ivy League titles this year. They're both traditionally strong teams, and this year should be no different.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this week's edition. We look forward to seeing you again next weekend when we'll be back on the prowl.